And it's great, isn't it?
It is. But I feel a little bad this year because there's a pumpkin patch we went to last week, and there's like the real good one that's like an hour and a half away, but I had things to do. So we went to like a secondary pumpkin patch, and I could feel it in her that she was a little disappointed.
So it's like a AA shortstop.
I felt it. So we bought a bunch of pumpkins.
All right, multiple. You make up for it in volume. Okay, so I want to start with a game. Matt Hasselbeck was on. He could have talked about it all day. New England had this. When you have a really great team, but you're selling in the locker room, nobody buys into you. Detroit's got the best O-line, the best running back room. They got everything. And yet the city has been mocked. The coach has been mocked. L.A. kicked Goff out of town. I watch Detroit, and I see a great team with like 8 great players in their prime. And they got that chip thing where it's like, oh, we're all cast-offs.
Yeah.
It's powerful watching them play.
It is. And I would say they're the cream of the crop right now of the NFC. Right now, they'll be representing the NFC just with how everything looks going around that conference. The one thing that gives me a little of the like Sunday scaries with them are it's MCDC and his like decision making. Like I didn't love the fourth quarter or the first quarter fake punt.
Yes.
On fourth down when I knew it was coming, they knew it was coming. Everyone knew it was coming, and they still ran a fake punt on a bad look. Now, that was cool when you were, on the bottom scraping knees or whatever he said, and they were fighting to become the team and establish their culture. But they have that culture now. He needs to evolve as a head coach and not put his teams in a lot of these desperate situations where I know they're trying to promote that they're a tough football team and they're confident in their ability, but like that'll burn you when you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. That'll burn you when you give an opportunity to a team that can whoop you like another possession in a short field. Like those situations will kill you.
It feels like to me, Dan is pretty regularly, he doesn't want to let go of the culture he created.
Yeah.
Which is this kneecap biting thing. He wants to, and as they grow and win more, he's like, okay, fine. I don't want to give away the street fighter. But they're no longer a street fighter.
You're not.
You're
the standard.
They're the main event. They're not on the undercard. I think they're the best team in the NFC.
They're a mentally tough San Francisco 49ers team.
And younger.
Yeah, and younger. That's my thing right now. I still think they need to get a pass rusher. Because like I'm thinking down the road, who you're trying to beat. Yeah, you're trying to win your conference and be the NFC champs. But you're gonna have to beat Patrick Mahomes or some crazy
Josh Allen,
a quarterback that's going to be able to be mobile. How are they going to get pressure on them? Like that's not gonna work. And then you're gonna play from behind. And we all know that these systems, these Shanahan, McVay systems, they like to play from ahead. They like to run the football. God forbid they get in a 14-point deficit, then they start changing their play calls, and they look sloppy. The drop back pass game's not their strength. Like Detroit's been playing the game the way they want to play the game. Let's start fast. Let's jump on them, get a lead. Let's play to our defense and let them get in these opportunistic third down situations, try to get the team off the field and make them drive. Don't give big plays up, make them make a mistake. Like they have something going right now. That's the formula to win. So I'm up on the Detroit Lions.
So one of the things, when Belichick was in his prime with Brady, you felt even against the other well-coached teams, Big Ben and Tomlin, I mean, the good ones against other teams. I mean, Andy Reid and Alex Smith, Peyton Manning and Dungy, even against the great coaching team quarterback combos. You'll be like, yeah, but Belichick's just, there's he and Tom. And I'm watching Mahomes and Andy Reid. They're missing running backs and they're missing wide receivers. Their adaptability, they're so resourceful. And here's the thing. I like Kyle Shanahan a lot. I don't want to overreact. But he is a guy that has a system. Mm-hmm. You talk about this. It is a system. And he can do little tweaks in the system, but it's the system. Andy didn't have a system. Andy's like, let's put Wentz and Mahomes in the backfield and make this thing fun. I'm seeing a little bit with San Francisco is that there is a way to play, and if they're missing certain pieces, then they're just not as good.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, the mental toughness right now of that team, of the San Francisco 49ers, is at an all-time low for me right now. I mean, if you look at it, I'm not a doctor, but if one of your best players got bubble guts and he's not going to play in a game and he's practiced all week and he's your best player and you're needing him, like, that's not cool. When your best player and your team throws a punch and he's going to be ejected for this game and next game, that's mentally soft. The distractions that the Niners had in the preseason with guys wanting to get paid, this team has acted like they've already won a Super Bowl, and they haven't won a Super Bowl. Like, usually you win a Super Bowl and people want to get paid and you get all these things and guys start missing games here and there. They haven't got there yet. So they got to toughen up a little bit mentally. They got to do what's best for the team and what's not necessarily best for the individual. And that's what you see in Kansas City. That's why Kansas City's winning. Travis Kelce ain't complaining that he ain't getting the ball.
He's hobbling.
They're winning. You know, there's so many distractions in San Francisco. I would like to say that Brock Purdy, he's been playing pretty good. I mean, for not having his weapons, if he uses this experience, this is a teaching lesson for him in his career. When he needs to learn how to adapt. The guy he just played didn't have any of his guys. Look how he performed on third down when the team needed it in 4-minute offense.
That run down the sideline.
Look how he performed in the red area. Box score looks terrible. 2 picks for Patrick Mahomes. But when the play needs to be made and third down or in the red area, he always makes it. So, like, these can be learning experiences for Brock Purdy going through this hiccup with the Niners. They did this last year. I hope that they can tighten it up and get back on the right track. But I think they got to take a teaspoon of cement. They got to get tougher.
I mean, have you ever played with a player that practiced all week and then just felt sick on Sunday and didn't play?
Yeah, but we won't bring out no names.
And he wasn't there long.
No, he got traded.
Okay. Well, I mean, seriously, if you
but for different reasons, we didn't because of that. But there's guys in the locker room that look at that. Like, I looked at guys that did that. There was a player that didn't play, he separated his shoulder, and like we needed him to play, and he didn't play. And I remember taking a needle in my shoulder for 6 weeks up to that point for the same injury, and I was playing. Like, then you look at a guy like, where's your mind at? Do you not want to win? What are we here for? We're here to win football games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that mental toughness, doing what's best for the team when it ain't necessarily best for you.
Okay, so Gerard Mayo called out the Patriots. I want to play this soundbite.
Ooh.
Gerard Mayo.
Look, disappointing game. We came out, we started fast. What I would say is, look, we're a soft football team across the board. We talk about what makes a tough football team. That's being able to run the ball, that's being able to stop the run, and that's being able to cover kicks, and we did none of those today.
Now, Belichick said, well, we led the NFL in run defense last year. I don't think we're soft. What did you make of that?
I liked it. I like Gerard calling on guys out. I mean, that's clearly what he's been preaching all year. If a coach goes out at a press conference and does something like that, he's been talking about that all year. Fellas, we need to stop the run. We need to tighten up that's how they won against the Cincinnati Bengals. They stopped the run, they ran the ball, and they made a play in the kicking game. That's a fundamental thing if you want to be a tough football team. It's been in the building for 25 years. So I like it. I mean, Gerard's making some of the guys, hey, we got to be accountable. Like, we put all this work, we put all this time in for little drills, the drill that leads up to the 7-on-7, the 7-on-7 that leads up to the team, the individual one-on-one battles that you do to lead up to the team drill. Like, that's what these guys are working all day long, and you get frustrated. I feel bad for Gerard, but I also like it.
So, are you ready for this, J-Mac? We're going to talk about the Jets. And I said, you see this in the NBA. Where you put a bunch of talented players together, it's like they'll figure it out.
The Clippers.
The Suns. Right. And it never works. It literally never works. What just won the championship was the Celtics together for years. Before that, it was the Denver Nuggets together for years. It's because all these games are close. They're all circumstantial. It's trusting your teammate. I've got your back. Like, that stuff is hard. You can't just super glue stuff together and think it holds. So I watch the Jets and I'm like, they're just a bunch of talented guys I don't think they're a team. Interim coach, second coordinator. Aaron's not, I'll be nice. I don't think he's a galvanizer. I think he's talented. Derek Jeter was the soul of the Yankees. A-Rod was talented. You can have both. Yeah. But if you're asking Aaron, hey, unify, Aaron's always had a little bit of a I'm above it all kind of thing, which is fine. I don't care. It's not personal. But I look at them and I just think, talent, yeah. I mean, you probably for years faced teams, and you and Tom would beat them, and you'd be flying home thinking, they got good players. They don't know what the hell they're doing, but they got good players. Houston's had a few of those teams through the years. You're like J.J. Watt. You're like, they got dogs everywhere. That's what I see with the Jets. Is it fair?
It is, and you got to blame Tom Brady for this. Because, he goes over to Tampa Bay and wins the Super Bowl. Now everyone thinks they can do it. And then the Rams go out 2 years later and do the same kind of thing. So this is kind of a new wrinkle in the league where teams are trying to buy the Super Bowl let's go try to buy it. I think that was a tough game for the Jets last night. I thought I was impressed with how they looked in the first half.
Sure.
But then they don't know how to make adjustments. They fired, I've heard you've been saying, they fired their best coach. Usually good coaches make adjustments at the half, and you could see a good team pull away from teams that are playing good in the second half. That's because the team knows how to adjust the adjustments. That's a huge thing. And right now, I just don't think they have a lot of chemistry. They don't have a lot of time on task together. And that's, there's a lot of reasons for that. One is, Aaron in the offseason doesn't think it's that important. This is a new group of guys. Guys are jumping off sides all the time. That cadence is tough to get used to. You got to practice that. That's got to be practiced all day long to get these guys. That's a tool for Aaron. That's an amazing tool. It's one of his best things. But, if you don't practice it, guys, I can't hold my water on that. Are you out of your mind? Those voice fluctuations, those are impeccable. He's got 8 touchdowns on that play. So, the time on task for them is just not enough, and they're going to run out of time. I feel bad, but, that's why it's important in the offseason to nail down crucial fundamentals that you will lean on subconsciously when it's a stressful time. That's where I see a lot of their problems.
It's interesting that you circle back to Tom. If you go back to Tom's first year and this is really Aaron's first year.
Yeah.
Really.
First 8 weeks were tough.
So he was lost to the Bears on Thursday night, was screaming at
He didn't know what down it was. I remember. It was past his bedtime.
That's right. He thought it was fourth. He thought it was third down. It was fourth.
I love you, Tommy.
But no. But it shows you. Stafford's first year with the Rams, he was kind of reckless. He had some. They had to bring in Odell Beckham. They're like, we got to solve that. If you go look at how hard. So this is Stafford won a Super Bowl, and Tom did.
Yeah.
Okay, it's hard.
Very hard.
Russell Wilson, man overboard. And this is my thing. I said this earlier. It doesn't matter if you're a law firm, a plumbing company. When you're rebuilding stuff in a limited time, it's freaking hard.
Very.
Stafford and Brady, about week 6 with both, when they took over the new team, it was capsizing. And these resilient guys, Tom had a bye. If you remember the first year, he got a bye, and he and Bruce Arians cinched it together. And then all of a sudden there was a loosening of the schedule for Stafford, and he started stacking wins. I'm not sure if Aaron's quite that personality, if he's a galvanizer. But also in that situation, the Bucs and the Rams had better ownership. I think firing Saleh, I think it's really easy to do stuff like that. I watched this defense the last 2 weeks. Okay, you weren't around fired coaches. Did you ever have a moment when a team replaced a coach midseason?
No.
Can you even imagine it?
No, I can't imagine. That's the thing. You can't imagine what new things a new coach is going to do in the middle of a season when you guys have been practicing all. Your team knows what they know. So I don't really know how to handle a fired coach. This situation, it just seems so Jets. When things are going well or something, that, they have no patience. It just, everything seems a little desperate. And I feel bad for the fans, man. I was there in MetLife when they beat the tail out of us, the Patriots, a few weeks ago when you're like, man, this is going to be awesome. And, those fans were so happy. I feel bad for them because that's just not how you run business. It just seems impatient. Yeah. It seems, but I don't know. I can't speak for them.
Okay, I want to circle back finally.
Yeah.
So when I watch Kansas City in close games, and I'm just like, it's just institutional knowledge. Mm-hmm. I mean, even, they do things. You've been in this. You're one of the few players that we could ever bring on Fox. You and Tom probably had 24 big games, some regular season. This was a big game.
Yeah.
When you would go into these games and you're in the third and fourth down, did you feel like looking across like Kansas City, we're going to win this? Or was there apprehension like the Baltimores, the Steelers, the Colts? Every high leverage play in that game, Kansas City was flawless.
Yeah, that's because of preparation. They've seen that in practice. That's Andy Reid. That's Nagy in practice. That's Spags in practice, getting these guys prepared through these situations. I mean, when I would go into a third down and a gotta-have-it situation, I knew before the play call even came in what we would run because we practiced this situation 15 times that during the week, or not that, you know what I mean? So certain situations. So like when we get to the line of scrimmage, I was at my most confident because I ran this play in my head already. I know what the defense is running. I know because of the install. If this guy's inside leverage, we got to cover 5. Like I know what the coverage is from all of my coaches. I'm prepared for that situation. So by that time, it's just deja vu. You've already done it. That's what you see with the Kansas City Chiefs. When it comes to a gotta have it situation, they've done it so many times. They're so prepared. It's just about going out and executing a regular play.
So they were in the shotgun at the 1.
Yeah.
So just that, I mean, do you think that was part of the deception? I'm like, who's at the shotgun at the 1? Even Tom mentioned it.
Yeah. I mean, that's Andy Reid and his innovative play calls.
He's trying to get into your head.
He always has 3 to 6 new red area plays a game. If you look at it, I mean, he got this ring around the rosy stuff. He does a lot of those shuffle pass things.
Wentz and Mahomes in the backfield.
Wentz, the double option stuff. There's some kind of reverse. When you play against them, you have to. I just always remember Coach Belichick preaching to the defense. You have to play team defense. You have to do your job. Everyone is accountable for their one responsibility. And if you don't have that responsibility, Patrick Mahomes will make you pay. And Andy Reid with the play calling.
So Bill felt when you played Kansas City, Bill addressed that it would be different.
Always, yeah, because And
you were beating them then.
Yeah, we didn't lose to Kansas City, really. I don't think in my career. I mean, I think we did last in my 8-19.
They were a fleggling dynasty.
They were getting there, and they were young and sexy, and they were explosive. But I always felt when we would play them, our defense played them pretty right. You get physical with them, make them play tight man coverage, disguise your looks for Patrick, try to disguise as much as possible. Double their best guy. Don't let Kelsey touch the ball. Whatever you have to do, you hit them at the line of scrimmage. You get physical with them. You get tight man coverage with their receivers. You try to kill the flow of their timing routes. Like that's the kind of stuff you have to do. And if you don't, they're gonna eat you up. I remember that. I know the game plan because we play them in such important games so much. Bill would address the team in front of the whole team. So he'd go over the offensive responsibility, the keys of that game. He'd go the defense keys of that game, and he'd show, a 40-play cut up to the whole team along with special teams. So, over the years, it may not have been a Patrick Mahomes team, but it was Andy Reid's system. We were playing him in Philly, or you play him in, you'd always go back and watch those films. So, you got to be prepared. You can't make mistakes. The 49ers had a couple opportunities to seize the momentum on those interceptions. If Patrick Mahomes is going to turn the ball over, you have to capitalize on that.
You have to score a touchdown.
You have to capitalize, get some kind of point. I wouldn't mind a field goal, but, you have to capitalize on those. Because they will give them to you.
That's our thing. So early, the Niners stuffed Kansas City on a fake punt and got a pick.
Yeah.
No touchdown.
0. And that's sudden change. That's Spags, and that's probably practiced at we used to practice sudden change.
We'd say that. What is it?
Sudden changes? We'd be doing a 10-play drive in practice on offense, and all of a sudden Bill would blow the whistle and play 3 and say, all right, punt, and then defense is up, so you get that sudden change, and those things happen real quick after an interception, a fumble, a turnover of some sort, getting your team dialed and ready and focused for that first, shot play that the offense is going to give you as a defense or whatever they're going to do.
Julian Edelman, he's got a podcast, Games with Names. You talked to Bill Belichick lately?
I haven't talked to Coach.
He's busy now. He's got a lot of shows.
He's on everything. The new commercials are pretty funny. Him and Saban on commercials crack me up.
I know.
They're starting to dig into their a-holeness.
Hey, that's for some. You got to do it.
You got to.
You got to perform for the country.
Hey, that's method acting right there.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.